Hi, Briar.
Hello, Briar.
Becky's not going to be able to be on.
Okay.
She had a friend whose husband passed away.
Ooh.
And did you get the Warren articles today?
I saw an email from Gail and a response from Paul, but I didn't look because it was a little chaotic today, but I will.
Isn't it? I feel like I answer one email and two more come in the meantime.
Yeah, it's interesting how I thought I might be able to clean off my desk with all this, but
Oh, I know. I was
it's just
looking
gotten
forward.
worse.
Yeah, me too. That's what I said. I'm more exhausted now than I've ever been. All right. And Paul, I saw you looked over the articles. Thank you. I can't remember what it was.
A couple of little changes that I made.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Oh, you need to stand in front of the picture of your grandkids. The one that we just did. That's the one. Yeah.
If I get tired, I'll go sit there.
Yeah, and David, if you get a chance, just look over the warrant articles. I don't think any of us have both oars in the water totally with Gail and me. So just like Article 13 and 15. I mean, we looked over it together, but just to make sure. And then we have the article about moving the.
Right, the special ed one.
Yes, and the facility. I was going to say, and where's the capital reserve one? That's on there too. Okay, just make sure those are right too.
And that whole, where it used to be just a few areas, man, they've really opened that up now. You can save money for anything now.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it because that seems like those are the two that you would have the most. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that you can do that for anything now. I was thinking of one in regular ed that might not be too bad, like if you hired somebody. All right, I think I got all.
Right. If you just had a contingency, if you were able to do that in regular ed, and then, right, if it turned out you didn't budget enough for
Yeah.
something, yeah.
Yeah, so you could just leave your contingency in a fund, and then you wouldn't have to put it in the budget every year. Yeah.
Yeah,
Budget
that's true too. That's actually a really good idea.
Budget committee's joining rapidly now.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Mary?
Hello.
Hello. I had to log on twice to get through.
Ah.
Yeah, I had some technical difficulties with it too.
Yeah.
I had to join you with my
Gary.
phone.
Hello.
The IT man must be slacker today. Sorry.
What are we gonna do about him? You know?
Yeah.
It
Well,
says,
he's gonna mute himself and run away in a couple minutes when you say you're ready, because
says 12 though, and I don't see that. I see 10.
that's all there are right now. There are 2 attendees. One's a cable TV and the other is a member of the public.
Okay.
And we're doing these via the webinar feature. So only invited panelists show up on the screen unless somebody wants to bring the other people on board.
I know Jordan said he can't make it.
Okay.
John's gone, but
He's the only one I heard of not making it.
so we have a quorum for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. That's a quorum, right? 6 is enough for us. Hey, John.
Yeah, 5 or more.
Okay, should we start? Are you waiting for more people?
You're in charge. You're the chair.
Okay, why don't we begin? It's 6:04. We'll just, for those people that are on the other They're not the panelists. They're, I guess, spectators or something, David?
They're called attendees.
Attend-
All we have is the cable TV broadcast, and if somebody's not fudging the name, it's Mike Ray, who's running for the Board of Selectmen.
Okay, so why don't we just introduce ourselves? I'll start. I'm Gary Schwal, Chair of the Budget Committee. Paul, I'll go in order. Paul,
Paul Russo, principal of the Lincolnville School.
Dorothy,
Dorothy Lampier,
Diane,
committee.
Diane Halpern, superintendent. I love everybody's names are on there. That helps.
Briar,
Hi, Briar Lions School Committee. My internet is not working really well today. I'm sorry if I'm in and out.
okay, Ed,
Ed O'Brien, the Budget Committee.
Robin,
Robin Carantino, budget committee.
John. You're muted,
Oh,
John.
John's muted. Yeah.
I'm muted.
Oh, now
Not
you-
anymore. No, you're fine now.
Okay,
all right. And Petra,
Patria Allen Budget Committee.
Patria, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
All right, thank you all and welcome. Tonight, we're gonna hear from Paul and Diane about the school budget, and Briar from the committees, school committee, is on the line as well. Just a quick order of business. I'm not sure if everyone had a chance to review the minutes that Robin sent out from our Zoom meeting last week.
I did.
If we can.
I saw a
entertain
thumbs up
motion-
from Ed.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
That,
Any discussion?
Was the second Patria?
yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Okay, thanks.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, we have to do a roll call. Oh, things are moving around, so Dottie, how do you,
Approve.
okay, Ed,
Yay.
Robin? Robin's frozen. We'll go to John
yay.
and Petra.
Yay.
Okay, and Gary, yay. All right, well, Robin hopefully will come back. Motion passes, okay. All right, so I guess next item on the agenda, I don't know who wants to start reviewing the school budget, Paul or Diane
Paul, do you want to,
or David, do you want to say anything?
I just want to ask if you think you need the town administrator, otherwise I'm going to kind of beg off.
I mean, I'm okay with it. How's the rest of the committee feel on the school?
I'm okay with it.
Bye by
Okay,
me.
all right, well, enjoy your evening, David.
Thank you. Good luck.
Okay, thanks for setting us up. All right. I guess, Paul, you typically do an overview.
Yep, sure. So what I'd like to do with you folks is just share my screen and pull up a presentation that I like to run through. And then I'll unshare and we can discuss any questions that you have. People certainly could stop me if, you know, if they want during the presentation as well, Gary. I mean, it's totally up to you how you want to format it.
Why don't we listen to your presentation, and if someone has a dire need to interrupt with a question, we can do that.
Good.
Wait.
Then we can go back. All right, so basically, let me click onto this, see if I can go with it. All right. The first slide that I have up here is the funding. It's the revenues page. And I have put the, and I'm going to just kind of move everybody out of the way here on my screen. I have put the 2021 in a darker blue just to have it stand out. So our central program services or EPS allocation, as you can see at the 2,739,191.90, that is actually up by $38,189. So at first glance, you're like, hey man, this is great. But the next part of it is the state funding or the state's share of this 2.7 million. And that has gone from last year, this number here, 542,000, down by $198,000 roughly, down to 344,611. That's a huge drop. I'm going to talk about the seed money in just a second, but
Paul,
I'll just.
sorry, Paul, not to interrupt, but I believe last year you thought that the 1920, that was like a one-time extra hit, because when you look at 18-19, you kind of a little bit above that year too. Is that correct?
That is, yep, that's exactly right. And Diane laid it out very well last year. You know, and we were made aware that this was very likely going to happen. So the actual state contribution, I guess I'll just, we have some outside students placed outside, and there are main care reimbursements that are utilized, and we're anticipating that we're going to lose of this 344,611 figure, roughly $22,000. It may be less based on how long we've been out of school. You know, this number may be, but I guess we just assume that we're going to lose some of that to main care. So they'll pull that. We'll never really see it. So we're anticipating that the actual state contribution is going to be this number here. And that being the case, we know in order to get the 344,611, the town is going to be required to raise this number here, the $2,394,581. So again, we're losing about $198,000, and in addition to that, we're having to raise 229,000 more, this number here, than we had to last year. So the third leg to this, if you will, is the additional local. And you can see that the additional local is down significantly. The additional local, that's the money that we need to raise to run the school beyond what the essential program and services allocation suggests, is we have to raise the 869,311, but that's about $170,000 less than last year. Another number that we're going to throw into the revenue is our special education reserve fund. This budget proposes to utilize those funds to pay for outside tuitions, which will in effect zero out that fund. But in thinking everything through, and the advice that, and Diane may want to speak to this more, but the advice that we've gotten is that it's probably a good idea to utilize these funds now. And if for some reason we need to have more funds, there are mechanisms in place whereby we could do that. So this budget proposes to do that. And we're anticipating the same income. That's a small number, and I honestly don't know how the things are going to go with that. Currently, no one's paying rent, but it is a small amount of money. So anyway, the bottom line is that we've lost a lot of funding, but our expenses are down by this number right here, by $118,534. So I'll go to the next screen, and it kind of, you know, lays out what that looks like for the taxpayers. So here's the proposed budget, less all of the contributions and so forth. And you can see that even though the budget has dropped by the number I showed you right here, the $118,534, the actual impact to the taxpayers is a 3.2% increase, or an increase of money that needs to be raised of $101,310. Okay?
And part of that expectation for why you had to raise more money is because there was an increase in the property valuation at Lincolnville. So they were giving you less money for that.
And that's, you mean in the EPS
Yeah,
contribution they're saying, okay.
kind of the good news, bad news. Your property's worth more, but now you get less help.
Right, and that's very real. I'll point out that our friend Mike Johnson from the school committee has joined the meeting.
Okay.
Hi, Mike.
Hello, everyone.
Right.
And I think,
Hey.
I think Reed
Hey, Mike.
Reed from the budget committee joined us too.
Who?
Reed,
Okay.
Oh, good. Hi, Reed. So the next piece here that I'm just going to
Hi.
show you, just for your information, it's the other part on the front page of the budget is just our reserve account. And what we're saying, we currently have this figure in here of the 116,000. We know from the 18-19 budget, we're going to want to apply a significant carryover, which the good news is it will get our facilities reserve as of July up, or whenever, actually that date's not right, it's whenever this passes, up to $231,000, which is much closer to where our facilities reserve was before we ran into issues with the gym. So, I mean, the bottom line with the facilities is that between the work we did with the gym and putting in a new controls system, and then taking care of a laundry list of things that, you know, have deteriorated over our first 16 years of being in the building, we're in real good shape. We're in real good shape in that there are no really large items on the, you know, in our facilities plan for the next 5 or 6 years. And I believe, you know, everything's been taken care of, and you got a chunk of money in there. So really in a great position as far as the building is concerned. So what I'd like to do is go down through the cost centers and the accounts in those cost centers and just give you an idea of how they've changed from last year's budget to this budget.
Mhm.
And, you know, just to give you a better idea of where things are and why they're where they're at.
okay.
So you'll see in regular instruction, there's a 4.8% increase in the total line. And there's nothing big, and that's really primarily driven by changes to salaries and benefits. And the same stands true for the GT instruction. That is, there's a $1,600 increase there, and that really is driven by salaries and benefits. Our insurance, we had it originally budgeted to go up. I think we started at 10%, and then what was the final number, Diane, that it came in at? Was
At
it
what?
3% for insurance, health insurance?
3%?
Yeah, was that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we really, again, it didn't go up as much as we thought, but that's what's driving that, just you know, a step and a little bit in the insurance. So that's the regular instruction.
Shoot.
I need to go back one. Special services, which would be special ed instruction, and then our special education office, which we share with Hope and Appleton. Again, there are some changes. It's up $80,000. That's driven by salaries and benefits. There was a significant tuition increase. And for outside tuition, we had a half-time ed tech in here, and we're moving that to full-time. But keep in mind, even though this is up that amount of money, we are applying over $40,000 from the reserve account to kind of ease the increase in tuition. There's almost no increase in the special education administration line, $176. So that's very minor. When we move into other instruction, that's the co-curricular activities and athletics. That's almost unchanged. The big difference is we've always paid our 8th graders going to Camp Kiev out of this co-curricular activities line. And, but we can use some of our federal funding to do that. And it really makes sense to do that. A lot of the other schools do it that way. So we simply moved that amount of money from the line, and so that reduced the costs there. Support services, guidance up slightly. That's again salary and benefits. Library services, as you can see, is down significantly. And most of that is salary and benefits. Our librarian retired. We had an excellent librarian, Carol Waldron, and her pay in benefits, in the teacher's line was a fairly significant cost, because obviously she's at the top of the teacher scale with an advanced degree. But when we hired this, we were actually able to find a local librarian who is not a certified school librarian, so doesn't have the teaching degree, but has significant library experience and has run and does currently run a number of programs very similar to what we're doing here. And we were able to hire her as an Ed Tech 3, which enabled us to continue to have an experienced librarian, A, and B, we actually were able to extend the number of days the library is open. So we're hoping that will net us some summer programming down the road and some other things, and we'll work that out. But it was a significant savings, as you could see. We had some savings with technology because we utilized some federal funding that we had to purchase some of the things that we normally need from there. So that was a benefit for us. Health services were required to increase our nurse to full-time. And this was actually something that we had to do based on some student needs prior to COVID-19. But schools now, pretty much all schools are going to be required to have a full-time nurse now. So,
Right.
We were ahead of the game, I guess. Almost no changes in the staff training and student assessment. They remain the same. So this support services is down significantly, as you can see, almost $50,000 there. School committee, just some adjustments to the audit, which is going to go up, and legal fees. And then for the superintendent, Diane, you should probably speak to that because I wasn't part of that discussion.
Our office went up, the business office went up due to we're hiring someone with accounts payable. We've needed extra help in the office for some time, and we were outsourcing with SAD 40, but then they weren't able to accommodate us anymore. And so we had to hire half-time accounts payable person. And it's actually Jody from Lincolnville, who's fantastic. And so she's also going to cross-train with Gail and learn payroll. So in case Gail wants to be on vacation, if either one wants to be on vacation, the other one can do the other person's job. So that's been a long time. We've tried 4 different options and we finally had to just hire somebody part-time. And can't say enough about Jody. She's just fantastic.
And it certainly gives you a lot of stability in, you know, in the event that somebody does need to take some time or something.
That has worried me,
Yeah.
yes, for a long time. Yeah.
School administration, the principal's line is up slightly. There's salary and benefits, a little increased time in our office, from basically from 2 hours to 3 hours a day.
And
So
Jody
that's
is still able to work with you.
right.
Yeah.
Jody Davis will work half-time with us and half-time with the superintendent's office. Transportation, as it stands now, this was a one-year extension that the school committee and Northeast Transportation agreed to. Came out at 2.6%. Operations and maintenance, that's the big dog. As you can see, the significant drop there, $234,408. And what's, again, as I said earlier, we got a lot done. We had a really need to do list, and those are the things that we said we were going to do. And we also had a list of things that would be good to do if we could afford them in this budget year, and if we couldn't, we would likely, in the current budget year, we would have to move them forward to this 2021 budget. And the good news is some of the big ticket items came in under budget. And so then we were able to then take care of some of those things that we were thinking were going to be kicked to this budget. So we just were able to completely eliminate a number of things. And honestly, we still have some things going, you know, in the building, you know, that you know, to clean up. But we were really fortunate that the work came in under. And then the one that's always dropping is the debt service. You know, the principal stays the same, but the interest keeps dropping for what we pay on the building, our mortgage essentially. So that's dropped by, as you can see, $13,900. And I did note here, and this is the first time I've done it, and it just kind of looks good to see it there, that the final payment due is 2025. So, I mean, that's coming. That's coming. So that's good. Food service is just up slightly. And again, the bottom line here, the total, you can see that we've generated a budget that has dropped almost $120,000, 3.2% from last year. So even though there are other factors that are going to cause a bit of an increase, that's where we're at. I honestly, you know, I've been doing this a long time. I've never been able to present a budget with a 3% decrease. I've been happy those years when we could present one with a 3% increase. So that's where we're at.
Good.
I'm going to you want me to wait for questions, or I can unshare the screen and whatever you want?
Just, I mean, a question I have, and I don't know if you or Diane will even have the answer. I mean, does it look like school, you'll be back in September, or
It's
and
not a budget
not,
question.
how does that impact the
Not
budget?
fair.
That's the big $1 million question. And now that the first thing they wanted to deal with was, what was it? Graduations, how they were going to do that. They gave the guidelines for that. The second thing was summer school. How are we going to address that? That's going to be remote. And now they're focused on how are we going to reopen? The commissioner said, if you want my honest opinion, there's no way we're going to reopen as normally in the fall. It's going to be a tiered approach, and it's probably going to be part remote, part in person.
And how will that impact this budget? I mean,
It's
would
going to impact it. That's one thing they were saying, well, we need to get some decisions out now because people need to know that for their budget. And I said, well, we're already way past that. For an example, we can't fill our buses with kids like we do now. So you're going to have 2 or 3 bus runs alone. That isn't going to come for free. They're talking about you have half the number of kids. You're going to need more spaces. There's talk about, do we even open kindergarten, because that's not an absolute needed. So maybe we need that room to spread out. There are so many unknowns and elements to this. It's unbelievable. And hospital gowns, gloves, masks for not only teachers, but students. And it goes on. And like Paul said, we need full-time nurse. You need to have a room that's just set up for COVID. Where are you going to put the kids who come in and they need a space? What about, are we going to check their temperatures before they come in? I could go on and on. So yes, it is going to impact the budget. So there's going to have to be some money that comes with that to help.
Okay.
With it.
John, I think you have a question.
Yes, I do. Diane, I was wondering, has there been any talk of kids rotating? Like one week, some go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, the others Tuesday and
yeah.
Thursday.
Yep. There's
Yep.
talk of that. And then they're trying to say, well, what about those kids that share a daycare or like neighbor kids? And so trying to manage it so that the same kids can come together, so that those that when they're off, they can go to have the same. Yes, the answer is yes.
Okay. Another question. How's the online instruction going? It just got started, in the last month or two.
Oh no, we started day one. The Lincolnville teachers, go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, our teachers started right off. I mean, all of our middle school kids had devices, and I mean, we were even doing school lunch. We had a meeting on a Sunday and had a teachers meeting, and school was canceled. And on a Monday, we had a teachers meeting, and we were already on it. And to tell you the truth, it's difficult, and there are mixed reviews, and
That's everywhere.
it's a struggle. In some homes, it's okay, and in some homes, it's going fairly well. And it's hard. It's for parents. I mean, the expectations of teachers. I think teachers were much better equipped to be able to put something out and to send home than parents were to all of a sudden start homeschooling. I mean, that just makes sense. And I think that many of our parents, and there's certainly been added stress, but many of our parents have embraced it, and the feedback we've gotten has largely been very good. And when we hear things that we need to pay attention to, we've made some changes and some adjustments. And I think the staff's done a tremendous job. I think the parents have done a tremendous job. And one of the things, though, that you need to understand, John, is that we said from day one, and we've tried to reinforce it. I sent out a letter before April break to reinforce it, is that we fully understand that we have no control of, around family dynamics, and that we didn't feel that it was our job to hold any household accountable for what did or didn't get done. We felt that our job was to be a resource and to be there for the families that needed us, and to provide as much support for those families as we could, and understand fully that there are going to be some houses where it's just really, really difficult and stressful. And we just need to respect that and respect the family. And that's what we've tried to do.
Yeah. So are you testing like normal to see that the kids are making progress?
No.
No.
Our our plan has been and may still be to, let's just say in the best of all worlds, we opened up in September and everyone, we would do our normal testing program, which at the beginning of the year is like a baseline, and it tells us where the kids are at, and then we would plan accordingly. Okay, here's where they're at. We're going to take them, we're going to plan to take them as far as we can and utilize our resources to do that. So that was the plan. And again, the conversations that Diane was talking about, those are conversations that are going on outside of our building. We haven't had any of those conversations. We've stayed away from the what ifs because we're so focused on what we're doing now.
Oh, yeah.
That when we wrap up, we're going to start those conversations, and hopefully we'll have enough information. I mean, honestly, it would be hard for any Mainer to not understand that we have a tourist economy and it's summertime, and as restrictions loosen and people start coming back up, we may get another reality, and we're going to have to adjust to that. So we're going to spend some time. We're going to send out a survey and get as much information as we can from parents. We want to know what worked. We want to know what didn't work. We want to hear from them, adjustments they made in the home that were good, what they feel our expectations should be going forward if we don't open. So hopefully that we'll have a document to begin to plan from, and we'll maybe take a week or two off this summer and then get on it.
Yeah, the commissioner did say she would have an answer for us by the end of May, as best she could. But like Paul said, we have no idea what's going to happen once they open up and what that's going to look like.
Can you
I
see
will say-
go ahead.
I will say though, she has she hasn't promised, but just about that she's going to keep the subsidy the same, because we keep hearing about what about curtailments. I mean, the revenue sharing isn't going to come in at what they thought it was going to be, and how can she guarantee that the subsidy, what they're telling us? But she said, put the subsidy I told you in the budget, and that is the last thing we will touch, because the trickle down ramifications from then pulling from budgets that are finalized is huge. So
Okay. Are there scenarios that you've talked about where the kids would wear masks, or
Yes.
if they need masks? Oh, they will. You're not just going to stay home if you need a mask, but you can
Nope.
come and they have to wear masks.
that's one of the things they're talking about, and how you keep
Yeah.
2-year-olds with masks and 6 feet apart. I'd love to hear.
I know.
And I said 6-year-olds, and they were like 13-year-olds. Try that one too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good
Okay.
times.
All right. Any other questions for Diane or Paul?
Well, yeah, I still
Rob?
don't quite grasp there's the $118,000 lower budget, yet up 3.2%. That's on the first page.
Right.
I didn't quite get that yet.
Go ahead.
Well, the reason for that is because our state funding went down and the town's valuation went up. So that when you put all of that into the formula, it gives you the amount the state throws in and the amount you have to put in order to do that, in order to receive the state funding.
Yeah.
So that's what
So remember, it went down because your property value went up, but also because you had, what was it, 216,000? That was a gift last year, and you didn't get that. So we knew automatically, 216. We knew automatically it was going to go down by probably $200,000 because you don't get the gift twice. So we knew that was going to happen, but then you also had an increase in property value.
So it's just kind of coincidental that the overall budget increased 3.2%, but what you just showed on the screen decreased 3.2%. Right? Coincidence that the
I think
number.
you have to just keep all of those factors in there. And honestly, I think if we were back in 17, 18, looking forward with the issues that we had, and we would be saying, man, if we could just come up with an extra 200,000 somewhere, it would be great. And for some reason that's what happened, and we fully utilized it, and we're in really good shape. And it's too bad that that $118,000 decrease on the spending side generates that.
Well, part of that is because you're not spending that 216 in the facility, because we used all of that to do spending in the facility line too.
Right.
Robin, did you mean it's an it just happens to be an increase of 3.16% and then a decrease and then an increase to the taxpayer?
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, just the first thing showed, when you were looking at the local contribution,
Yeah.
it kind of came down to 3.2% increase.
Yeah.
Right. It's like
It's just
funny that it's the same number in
Yeah.
two directions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are there any other questions?
I guess one more general question. I have the EPS allocation. So
Yeah.
the state calculates that by some formulas, I guess, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I'm just wondering how we can benchmark our budget against like the state. So if the state says minimal, you have to have this many teachers for your kid and this number of kids, and you have to do this and serve lunch and so on. Can we like compare? Is there any way to look at our budget and say the state says we should have 200,000 for this, and we have?
Yeah, we get that. We get that. I knowing you, John, I think I'm going to make your day, because I'm going to forward you that very document that we get from the state, the ED 279, and I think you'll appreciate it, and I'll be happy to chat with you. I'm sure Diane will.
Yeah, I would too. It's kind of fun to do that. I used to do that and say, okay, what are they giving us, and how many teachers are they giving us, and how much are they giving us to spend on technology, and how much? It'll blow your mind. I don't know any school that can actually run a school based on what they think they're going to give you, but it's fun, and I'd be happy to do that with you.
Yeah, okay.
I'll send it to you, John. Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions?
That we can answer. No, just
Seeing none, well, before we let Paul, Diane, and the school board leave, does the committee have enough information to make a recommendation on the school budget?
I do.
Do you want to digest what you heard tonight? We can set up another meeting, or do you want to get it done tonight?
Let's do it tonight, please.
Yeah, I'm good for tonight.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I'm fine with tonight.
Okay, all right, I'll entertain a motion then. To approve or not approve, or recommend or not recommend.
I recommend.
What, who?
Yeah, people have to
Who made the motion?
think it was Reed.
Reed, did you make?
I was starting to.
Okay.
I move that the budget committee recommends
Second,
supporting the school budget as presented by the superintendent's office.
And seconded by Dorothy.
Yes.
Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, let's do a roll call. Dorothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ed,
yay.
John,
Yay.
Robin,
Yay.
and, sorry, Reed. Your
Yay.
name is Dan McCormick on the screen, so,
No.
and yeah.
and
Threw
Petra.
me for a second.
Yay.
And Gary, yay. So it passes unanimous. Thank you very much, Paul and Diane and the school board
Thank you.
members that
Thank
are
you, Paul.
present. Good. I know there was a lot of work put in to this budget,
Right.
and it was very helpful for us to see that. And we're in a new era right now, so we're all learning how to deal with.
I'd like to make one comment. I
What?
want to thank Diane for all that she has contributed to the school district and to the town of Lincolnville. I think you've done an awesome, amazing job, and enjoy your retirement.
Thank you.
I second that.
Second,
Nice second. I heard rumors of that. That's true, huh, Diane? You're retiring?
Yes, I am. So I will be here next year as a retired taxpayer. So keep up the good
Yeah.
job.
Well, we're always looking for budget committee members, so,
That's a good idea. Diane, you could be on the budget committee.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, I'm looking for a replacement myself.
No, you're not, Reed.
That's a thankless job, but so thank you all for doing it as a
Oh,
community.
you're welcome. Well, thank you. If there were any other new business,
I have just one other comment. As you know, as a budget committee member and parent of 3 children at Lincolnville School, I just really want to say, Paul, I really appreciate your teachers and what they've done with really a trying situation. It's been, I'm sure it's been really tough for them, but I know my kids have, I think, made the best of a tough situation. I know the teachers have really done good work. So I appreciate what they've done.
Thank you. I couldn't.
Pass it on, Paul.
okay. Any other new business? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Wait, who was it? Who was it? Was it Petrea or George?
Who-
It was
who made-
Dottie.
Dottie.
Dottie made it. Okay, thank you very much,
Wait,
everyone.
who seconded?
Okay,
It's easier when we're in person.
John, did you,
Yeah.
who seconds, who seconded?
Yeah, I
it?
did.
Yeah, John did.
Thank you.
I
You're
feel
welcome.
your pain, Robin. I do that at our meetings, so.
David, I don't know if David can hear us. You heard that we made a recommendation for the budget?
I did.
Okay, good. All right, well, everyone have a good night.
Don't we have to vote
For what?
to adjourn?
All
Oh,
right,
you're all right.
all in favor of adjournment?
Yay.
Yes, yay.
Yay.
Okay,
Everyone.
I'll put us down as unanimous.
great. Well,
Yeah.
thank you all and stay safe and enjoy this beautiful week of weather we're having.
Yeah.
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 Okay, good night.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Right.
Good night,
Okay, bye.
everybody.
Thank you all.
Night,
Yep.
David.
Night.